look out! Big boy! Holy Hootenanny Supreme! Godzilla Collection Burning Godzilla, as released in 1995. Doth eyes do not perceive you as an overlooking chump, I have not talked about this figure in full before. I know it definitely looks like a figure that I've already talked about quite a few times on this channel, but it's not. So, can we just take the time to appreciate that this is where the Bandai Godzilla Collection started, and this is how it ended? Bandai seriously had one massive friggin' glow up throughout this line, and I'm proud of them, I really am. Granted, the paint application really didn't get too much better from where they started, but hey, it was their heyday. This is where they began. Let's just start talking about the friggin' flamin' hot Cheeto Godzilla. Detail-wise, this figure is a very telling son of a gun. Yet again, the fact that Bandai went from not all that accurate to pretty dang accurate when it comes to their molds is just the glow-up of the century. Yes, the man isn't perfect when it comes to paint application, but at least when it comes to his dorsal fins over here, he's as detailed and painted up as he really needed to be. Yeah, Loverboy's fins over here are a little on the banged up side. I did buy this secondhand. Now, aside from his gigantic size, the other telling portion of this figure being an older Bandai figure is simply that the tail is painted all the way through to the tip. Sure, it's not accurate. I don't give a f because they actually made an attempt to paint the friggin' tail. And just look at all of the beautiful detail on these nubby little hands stretching out from the underverse as their souls are being scorched by the nuclear energy radiating through Godzilla's body. Jesus Christ, Rob. It's all just so very well done, and I love the way these things look. And that goes for the main row of dorsal fins as well. I love how they look. I'm not counting for all the markups because, again, secondhand, but holy Christ on a cracker, they actually painted both sides of the dorsal fins and the back isn't coated in orange. Not that I would have minded that. I think that honestly would have looked pretty cool. But just the fact that something like this is present on an older Bandai figure and not on something that's being continuously released through the Movie Monster series is just a little more telling in how far Bandai tends to fall sometimes. But hey, yo, look at this Goji face. Look at all the amazing detail. You can see his ears, his brow, his nose, everything. It looks so very cool. Again, both of these figures are from the same line. This was in the 80s. This was in the mid-90s. Holy Christ! Just look at the ferocity in Godzilla's eyes. Everything's blacked out except for his crystal clear orange irises, or irises. It's just such a great representation of Burning Godzilla in vinyl format, and all the teeth are painted, the tongue is painted, but let's take a closer look at those. Whew, Shimama, look at those teeth. Beautiful, beautiful. Holy crap, they're beautifully painted on both sides. The front has some visible wear and tear, but just the fact that all of it survived and wasn't supremely marked up like the dorsal fins is pretty dang nice. Now, before I move on to the obvious, what are those? Some golden toes. ShinRob speaketh dead meme Jira here. It's part of my brand. Any hoodles, I love the golden extremities down here. I think gold for the nails was a really fun, stylistic choice for Bandai to take. The gold on the fingernails really didn't survive all too much. I mean, there's a finger over here that's mostly just black. In fact, it's so black that makes me think that maybe they just didn't paint it at all, because there's not a trace of gold on this side. Meanwhile, on this side, we've got some holy golden fingies. Yeah, the other hand definitely survived a bit better when it comes to the bling blow. Although the same finger on this hand is also lacking a lot of gold on this side. I guess we can just Google a picture of the figure that isn't beat to shit. There we go. And now it is time to focus on Burning Godzilla's burning stains. I fully admit, I was entirely spoiled by having this figure as early as I did. This guy, to me personally, is the quintessential vinyl Burning Godzilla figure. He's just perfect. But this was them early Bandai days, so I guess we can just talk about it. So essentially what was done here, they made an all-black mold of Godzilla and then just sprayed some orange on him. And like other Godzilla collection figures, it seems the paint varies per figure. But that does present some interesting color variation. The lighter sprays of orange almost come off copper or gold, while the heavier sprays of orange are much more vibrant. I can make a positive out of this negative. It gives Burning Godzilla almost a two-tone burning paint job. And you know me, I love my colorful friggin' repaint, so this is actually not such a bad thing at all. Except when you see that it's very, very uneven. I mean, we had a giant splotch of orange on this side, and over here it's like nothing. But you know what? I'll take this over this. Yeah, essentially it looks better than this figure, but I don't know. I still don't like this thing. Taking a look at the lush goji titties and beer belly over here, yet again we can see that varying degree of metallic orange spray paint going on. It's barely on the titties, but we get it over here, and then it kind of fades to nothingness over here. And yet again, we get that two-tone variation because it looks like they just started here very, very close and then just moved further and further away at an angle. Yeah, it beats being machine painted to the point where you can recognize paint strokes on newer figures, Hedora, but it's still quite a bit of a fucking mess. And then we move on over to Chonkzilla's thigh over here, and it almost looks like they spray painted it with his arm in the way because there's just this random nothingness over here. And as you can see, it's very heavily applied. The orange is nice and vibrant over here and even up here towards the thigh, and it kind of just fades as we get to the roll over here. And then the rest of the thigh kind of doesn't feature anything, which is to a point accurate, I think. I don't watch Godzilla vs. Destroyer too much anymore. But then we move on over to the other thigh, and yeah, that's kind of deminky. It's just kind of lobbed on there. It almost reminds me of a Playmates figure at this point. Playmates Shin Godzilla, actually. And it's excruciatingly noticeable from the front. But again, I guess just to repeat myself, this is old Bandai. This is before they kind of really had it all figured out and then fucked it up all over again. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be talking about detail. Beautiful detail from Godzilla's feet, ankles, kneecaps, and thighs. The folds in this leg are magnificent. It's like I'm looking at a mini version of the suit. The lovely scale detail across the tail is rather nice. And we will get the typical detail on the bottom side of the tail. Since I have him on his side, Bandai 1995 Japan. 1995 stuff I can't read, and then Godzilla. Lovely detail on the bottom of the feet. Godzilla's skin from the top of his head all the way through his neck, body, shoulder, thighs, and near his ass, all fantastic. Really, really digging how the detail on the neck was done. Yeah, that little friggin' line of skin right there. I find it impressive and I like it. Beautiful, and I mean beautiful detail on the dorsal fins over here. And it's like that on every side of the dorsal fins. Even the sides you can't fully see without doing this. Bandai's dorsal plate game was top-notch even back in the 90s. Nice. Nothing crazy, but I really like the detail on the arm, especially approaching the elbow. Love how there's a little fold bump in there. I especially love the fact that the fold is present over here on the arm as well, and that there's detail on the inside of the hand. As stated before, Godzilla looks absolutely ferocious, and I will never take that away from him. Just look at that. Yeah, he kind of looks like he wants a hug, but still, big, mean, Bernie lizard. Bleh. Details, details, details. Everywhere the eye can see. The back of Godzilla's head and neck ain't short on the details either. So simple, yet so effective. Simple and clean. And that's pretty much all I can really show you. Sorry for getting distracted by the paint yet again. I still need to friggin' work on that. So do I give this guy a pass in terms of the paint? It's very unevenly done, but the whole tail is friggin' painted. Orange metallic paint varies per side of which you're looking at the figure, which is a big bummer. But we also get golden toes and golden claws. And the dorsal fins are painted on both sides. And they look amazing. Since I can't decide, he is going to get a solid star and a half a star in terms of paint and detail. There's stuff I like and there's stuff I don't like, and I refuse to give it either a solid or a half a star, so it's getting both. Fuck it. Articulation-wise, Godzilla can move all the way around at the head. He can move back and forward at the arms. I imagine he can go all the way around, but I don't want to scrape any of this beautiful gold paint off. Yeah, okay, he does the same thing on both sides. Yes, yes, yes. He will also be able to go all the way around at both of the legs, both sides, yada yada. And we're not going to get anything at the tail. And I'm pretty sure this isn't supposed to move. I feel like since this guy was pretty banged up when I got him, this might just be a loose piece that was meant to be glue sealed there. So for anybody who has this figure out there, let me know. Does the tip of your Bandai collection Burning Godzilla figure actually move, or is it solid? The figure's going to get a solid star because it does everything I want a vinyl Godzilla figure to do. Size comparisons. Yeah, a big burning boy with loads to offer, none of which really being paint, but you know what? He old. A product of a different Bandai. It's an interesting discovery to make, seeing this lad as the genome of Bandai's Burning Godzillas, but honestly the best part is the beefier nature of this guy. I so long for Bandai to bring this size back oh so dearly, even if it's only 2 figures a year. Come on, Bandai! Shin Ultraman can't be the only Mega Movie monster in the Mega Movie Monster series. Let's get some Goj. Also, if you couldn't tell, he big. Another thing worth noting about this figure is that he's very, very squishy. I do believe this is one of the very first squishier vinyl Godzilla figures, because you take a look at some of the earlier figures in the line, like 62 over here, the squish factor isn't all there. And 64 over here, I feel like if I keep doing this, I'm going to crack him. Anyway, yeah, that's it. One of Bandai's greatest vinyl figures of all time? I would absolutely say so. Again, this was at Bandai's peak of just getting it right. And even though this very uneven friggin' paint kind of irks me, I guess in some crazy mental gymnastics-ass way, it's part of Bandai's history, so I can excuse it, but it's still getting a solid star and a half a star in terms of paint, because I am torn, and I refuse to choose here in this review. It's solid star. Anyhoodle, I do so hope you all enjoyed this review. I apologize for leaving y'all Godzilla-less last week. It wasn't my intent, I swear. But as this week goes on, we're going to move away from Godzilla, and then we'll be back with Godzilla on Friday. So the next time we meet, my hair will be longer, and I will be talking about Galador again. I cannot change this. I apologize. Actually, I'm not going to apologize at all. I love these friggin' things, and if you don't, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to watch the video.
Like a phoenix, I will rise from the ashes of failure.
Huh. ShinRobjira flop era.